All right, everybody, welcome back. You ready to dive into something kind of crazy?
Always.
Haha, good. Well, today we're going to tackle a pretty huge question. Is global civilization, like, on the brink of collapse?
Ooh, that's a big one.
Right? So, get this. The answer might actually be found in, like, these patterns of how civilizations grow and fall apart, kind of like a cycle.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we found this super thought-provoking article. It's called, Is Global Civilization About to Collapse? Catchy title, right. And it dives deep into this whole cycle idea.
Okay, I'm hooked already.
Awesome. All right, so let's break down this civilization cycle thing. The article talks about this ecologist, Crawford Holing, and he came up with this model for how, like, complicated systems change over time. He calls it the complexity cycle, 4 phases: exploration, conservation, release, and then, get this, reconfiguration or stagnation.
Huh, I haven't heard of that before. Sounds intriguing.
I know, right?
Break it down for me.
Okay, so think of it like this. The exploration phase is like, boom, rapid growth, tons of new ideas, inventions popping up everywhere, resources are plentiful, and it feels like anything is possible. Like, picture the early days of the internet, right?
Yeah, I get that. It was like the Wild West, so much energy, new websites, everyone connecting, so much potential.
Exactly. And then things kind of settle down, right? The article calls this conservation. Everything gets more efficient, more stable, but maybe some of that initial excitement fades away.
Right. Kind of like a forest that's been around for a while. It's strong, it can handle a lot, but it's not growing as wildly as it used to.
Perfect analogy.
Hmm.
So you've got these established rules, hierarchies, things that create order, but maybe also make it harder to change and adapt. Like, imagine a company, right? They start as this scrappy startup, full of energy. But as they grow, they become this big corporation, still successful, but maybe not as quick on their feet.
Yeah, that makes sense. The structure can become a burden.
Right. But then things take a turn with the release phase. The article describes it as a period of breakdown, like a crisis.
Uh-oh. So what causes this shift? Why does everything start to unravel?
Well, it seems like things can get too rigid during that conservation phase, right? Systems become so set in their ways they can't adapt to new problems, or when resources start running low.
I see. So it's like they're not flexible enough to handle big changes.
Exactly. Think about, like, a civilization that uses up all its resources or can't deal with a changing climate. Or even something like the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah.
Too much risk, not enough rules, and boom, the whole system crashes.
Wow, those are some pretty powerful examples. Makes you wonder, are we heading towards a release phase right now?
Right. The article points to some pretty, I guess, unsettling signs. Think about it. Financial systems are wobbling, we're using up resources faster than ever, and technology is changing everything so quickly. What do you think? Are we seeing this release phase happening around us?
It's definitely feeling shaky out there. The speed of technological change is mind-blowing, right? AI, renewable energy, electric cars, they're all disrupting industries left and right, changing the way we live. And then you've got the environmental problems. Climate change, species going extinct, and resources running low. It's like all these huge tangled problems are putting a massive strain on how things work now.
So, assuming we are in this release phase, the article says the next step could go one of two ways: reconfiguration or stagnation. What's the difference?
Well, reconfiguration is like the good ending. We adapt, we overcome the challenges of the release phase. It's like a fundamental shift, like everything changes. Our values, how things are organized, the systems we use.
So we basically change our way of thinking and doing things.
Yeah. Imagine a world where communities can support themselves, technology empowers people instead of big corporations, and we figure out how to live in harmony with nature instead of just using it all up.
That sounds amazing. But what about stagnation? What happens if we don't manage to reconfigure?
Stagnation is like, well, the not so good ending. It's what happens when a civilization fails to adapt and kind of just collapses in on itself. Think about a dystopian future, where a few powerful people control all the resources, technology is used to keep everyone under control, and the environment just keeps getting worse. Not a pretty picture.
Definitely not. So what does the article think? Are we headed towards reconfiguration or stagnation?
Well, the author, Nafiz Ahmed, seems to think we're at a crossroads. He believes that to successfully reconfigure, we need to embrace decentralization, like shift power away from big institutions, move towards sustainable values, and really understand the science behind all these problems.
I like how he emphasizes understanding the science.
Yeah, he specifically talks about exploring things like quantum mechanics and quantum computing. He even suggests checking out resources like brilliant.org as a starting point for learning more.
That's really cool. And, it's interesting because he actually predicted the 2008 banking collapse way back in 2006.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Although some people say he might have overstated how bad things would get.
That's a good point. It's important to be cautious about predictions, even if they come from someone with a good track record. Ahmed might have some great insights, but we should always think critically and consider different viewpoints. The future isn't set in stone. It's something we all create together through the choices we make.
Absolutely. So, for our listeners out there, what does this all mean? What can they take away from all this?
I think the main takeaway is that we're living in a time of incredible change, and it's more complex than ever before. But understanding how civilizations have risen and fallen in the past can give us valuable lessons for dealing with the challenges and opportunities we face today. The future is in our hands. It's not something that just happens to us.
I love that. So, what can our listeners do to navigate these crazy times? Any advice?
Never stop learning. Check out those resources the article mentions, have thoughtful conversations about these issues, and think about how you can contribute to a more sustainable and resilient future. Even small actions can have a big impact.
Well said. Everyone out there, keep exploring these ideas and remember the power to shape the future is within each of us.
Absolutely.
This has been an amazing deep dive, lots to think about. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you next time.
Bye.